So, yes, I'm back, and he's
Back with the unknown.
Yeah. So, back in 2019, the channel called Extra Cuts made that weird Stop Normalizing Nazis video. It's been 2 years since that was aired, so let's check it out.
Let's jump into it.
Alright, here you go.
There you are, playing the PvP in your World War II shooter, and all of a sudden, you're a Nazi.
Wait, I'm a Nazi?
What?
What?
Wait, all of a sudden, I'm black because GTA 5, remember?
Yes, oh my God. Wait.
Yo, what the? What the hell is this mean?
You didn't ask for this. You didn't
I didn't
want to be a Nazi.
Just shoot that yellow thing.
Just turn around.
use this. Yet there it is. And it's treated no differently than playing a British soldier.
Are you sure? It's just a fucking game. I mean,
no one should ever have a random chance of fighting for the Nazi.
I can have a random chance to get disability, so fuck you.
And we should never express that there's no meaningful difference between Nazis and Allied soldiers, or that they're functionally interchangeable.
But that's how big games work, though.
Yeah.
Like, that makes no sense.
And before anyone equips...
Where's the swastika, bucko? Because the Iron Cross is different than the swastika. Because the Iron Cross has been around since 1813.
Long time.
So that was an honorable badge from the era before.
From Germany.
Yeah, it's like that's not... It's a way to make it with sensitivities, but it's not the equivalent. Exactly. I will make that clear.
Equivocates and says not all German soldiers in World War II were Nazis. If they were wearing the swastika and are functioning as an arm of the Nazi government, then unless...
Then they're Nazi.
Then what is the swastika?
Well, they're not Nazi, but
they look like this thing. It's confusing.
The game goes out of its way to tell you specifically that your particular character is not a Nazi, then they're a Nazi.
That's discriminatory to all Germans. Also, most of them were drafted down to a point where, Hitler had either children or old people. They got to a point, so you're telling me...
And also the qualifications to be a Nazi soldier in itself was damn near you couldn't get in unless you were blonde with blue eyes. You can't be a Nazi soldier.
They were down to children and old people. Like, that's how bad it got. So you're telling me those child soldiers are Nazis because they were drafted into war?
And they didn't have a say-so whether they wanted to be a Nazi or not.
Yeah.
In that multiplayer shooter, when it switched you to the German side, did it go out of its way to tell you that the person you're playing was pressed into service under threat of their life?
Well, I mean, read the history books. Why is it the game's job? Shit, that could be a part of the story, but still.
Yeah, that's a big old no. Oh, and on a similar note, let's please stop forcing people to play as terrorists as well. There you are, playing your modern shooter, and all of a sudden you're a terrorist.
Oh my, I'm a terrorist now?
Huh?
Wow.
Oh, sorry.
Oh. Wow. I didn't know I was a Nazi and a terrorist.
Wait, can I say something? There's a couple of interesting Civil War games. If you play the Confederacy, would that make you a Confederate?
That's a good, great question.
How you get black? You're playing as a Confederate soldier that supports, like
KKK, white power.
I mean, it's so confusing. He's black. Like, what the hell?
You didn't ask for this, you didn't choose this, and yet second verse, same as the first.
You bought the game. You signed up for it, though.
You are now a terrorist. The
There
minute
it is.
you put
I mean,
purchase
that's
on the game.
literally the name of your side
Yes, it's a game.
Literally.
in the game. We can do better than this. Even if you put aside all of the people who have had traumatic experiences with these groups, who have lost loved ones to terrorists, or who have had generations of their families wiped out by Nazis, no one should have to put on the costume of an ideology they find abhorrent without actually opting into it in your game.
A black Nazi. I don't.
Well, the Iron Cross isn't the problem. It's the swastika. Let's be clear.
Even if you were black, you couldn't put on that uniform.
It's one thing if it was with the swastika. That made sense. But the Iron Cross on its own, I can consider the game World War I based, and I could still have the Iron Cross in it because it was around.
And by making people do so, we get them to stop thinking about it.
No, we don't. Actually, it keeps them thinking about it at some level.
To stop thinking of the meaning behind these things. We normalize them.
No, we don't.
Not really.
Not really.
You normalize them in video games when you're playing as a Nazi or a terrorist because no one cares. You're just playing the game just to play the game.
You're trying to push some weird agenda.
We make them just window dressing for entertainment.
I could say those are World War I class.
Yeah.
Like, unless it specifically has the swastika.
And it doesn't even have the swastika on the arm anyways. The swastika band.
So why would this change anything?
I don't know, but if you ever played there's a game that I used to play. It was you're British and you're fighting off the Germans, and every German had the Iron Cross on them, but none of them had swastikas on them. It's a perfect example.
It's used as a sensitivity, and technically the Iron Cross was a thing of valor. So it wasn't like it's not the equivalent. Let's know that now.
Those uniforms, those symbols, become things that...
Oh, so you're upset about the Purple Heart?
Yeah.
Think about it. Because remember, we used to be a blue coat, and we used to kick out the Americans out of the lands. So the Purple Heart just as bad? This is a mental gymnastics.
Yeah, it's a mentally challenging.
Mental gymnastics. What the hell?
That no longer inherently revolt us. They reduce our visceral reaction to seeing the embodiment of these ideologies. Now, does this make us totally ignore the history that comes with them? No. But for some people, it moves them from the territory of revolting to just edgy.
Not really. Sometimes, but you gotta be very careful.
Right.
Yeah, it's not like that much of a class size. It's like one step over you.
Yeah, you're right there.
It makes scrawling a swastika on something.
Why are you
drawing a swastika on a live tiger?
Well, you want to die?
Change from unthinkable to just dangerous.
You can still die from cats. Also,
www.stupidaf/hate. Who would even make a website
that's not even hateful. The Iron Cross is not the same as the swastika. Why must I repeat myself?
It means you might not take iron crosses all over a website as a warning sign.
Not because it's not. It's almost 100 years older
Then
than
the swastika symbol itself.
for the Nazi usage of it, but yeah.
You should immediately leave, and if you don't leave, you might start reading and buying into hateful ideas.
I mean,
Not really. That's their belief. It's under the Iron Cross.
and the Iron Cross is not the equivalent of the swastika. We have to keep this.
There. It seems like such a small and simple thing, but it's things like this that erode our safeguards against dangers we
Oh, so, what about the pornographic shit on movies and TV? I mean, think of Game of Thrones.
Oh my God.
And is that no different? Yeah, I mean, that's
And did Game of Thrones have a rape scene in it too?
I think it's, maybe, I
I don't remember. Game of Thrones is way too long.
And yeah, that was a week.
sacrifice so much to fight. By the time you've played 100 hours of being a Nazi, their voice stabs become memes and in-jokes with your friend.
I'm sorry.
He's not lying about that. You'll end up start saying some Nazi stuff on accident because you think it's funny.
Yeah.
By the 1,000th time you've respawned as a terrorist,
By the 1,000th time I respawn as Trevor, I'm a psychopath.
You're out in the field. You're out in the what is it called? Out in the boons. You're out in the boonies.
you're either celebrating them or making fun of them. Neither of which.
Yeah, because they make fun of literally everybody.
Yeah, literally anything and anything.
Like, remember those old school World War II cartoons?
Oh my. Remember the racist Mickey Mouse videos
Yes.
that make fun of black people? It's everywhere. It's just the internet.
Yeah.
Helps the global
It's
crisis we have
old
that
stuff.
takes thousands of lives every year. So what do? That's easy. Don't make them morally equivalent.
No shit. Dumb fuck, but still. The Allies wanted that. Yes and no. Remember the old saying, the victor writes history. That means, we as the Allies have written the history of why we were right. In most cases we were, but still, and so, did America have a right of way to drop a nuke on a city full of innocent people?
No.
But was the action, at least the first round, yes, we could have done more if we felt like it.
Right.
But we accepted the Japanese surrender. And by then, Germany was already captured by the Soviets.
Uh-huh.
So, how were the Soviets?
The Soviets came and
He
took
did.
it all over.
Yeah,
Don't make there be no in-game moral difference between your Nazis and your allies, between your terrorists and your counter-terrorist squads. Frame PvP as a training exercise.
That looks so weird. It looks like some Splatoon or some
Splatoon.
Yeah.
Or simply take one of your non-odious sides and recolor them so that it's red versus blue.
That's so vanilla though.
That's every video game since the beginning of time. Every video game shooter, red versus blue.
Except it's different words that we use.
Rather than Axis versus allies.
Nazi versus
A good example of a game that does this is Rainbow Six Siege. All of your bomb diffusion and hostage rescue multiplayer with no normalizing terrorists.
Are you sure? Because remember, those people you shoot are the terrorists last I shot.
In fact, by having all of the characters as counter-terrorists, training for a possible threat, it highlights...
So, how would you train someone? Wouldn't that make no sense though? It's so confusing.
how real and present of a threat that is. And if you decide that you need to have both sides be playable, don't make them interchangeable.
Then, That's really that's a weird argument.
Don't have players randomly spawn in as one or the other.
I mean, that's how video games work, bastards.
Allow players to choose which side they're on.
That's how every video game works. Seriously.
Unless
you're playing a 2010
or
Modern Warfare.
Or it gets full.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this has all sorts of in-game problems, such as creating shorter wait times for fascists. But you know what? Those wait times could be artificially
That's illegal.
extended. If it meant players had an active choice in what teams they would represent, if
Why?
you're
So you
saying
can take 2 hours just to hop in a game?
This,
Because some team doesn't want to be terrorists
what?
or Nazis? You're just gonna wait all day?
Like you're gonna make this full set of allies wait for another full set of Nazis for 2 hours.
Yeah, you know how fast that game's gonna die.
Yeah, it's dead.
we need people playing Nazis in our games. And if you're going to say, but we need it for historical reasons, then your game better actually be historical.
Fair play.
You can't really just hide behind the fact you called your desert map El Alamein and say, but it's historical. If that were the case, you need your PvP to at least represent real historical events and be a realistic take on those battles.
How we can make it realistic?
And you weren't there to see what happened. When it first started.
Like that's super complicated, and I mean,
You're asking for the impossible. Well, damn near the impossible.
Once you make both sides balance, it's also no longer historical.
That's unfair, but I get the idea, but...
And you can't really say that you need Nazis anymore for historical accuracy.
Oh, come on.
Oh, and once you let play...
What the fuck is this?
Is that a fun gun? What is that?
What is that? I want that.
I wonder what it shoots.
It shoots cannonballs.
Oh my.
Players get cool weapons that weren't actually at that particular battleground, it's also no longer historically accurate. And you can't declare that your game will suffer if you don't put players in the jackboots of the Third Reich.
What does that mean at all?
Just a little thought on the animation. How would that little tiny, is that a book bag or a book, wear those big boots? How would he wear those boots?
The poor game. He's like, what the hell? I've seen more.
Your game will suffer if you don't put players in the jackboots of the Third Reich. And once your map is something carefully designed to have good gameplay by a team in a room in San Francisco or LA, and it's not a faithful reconstruction of the...
How would that be a faithful reconstruction? Good luck reconstructing the Alamo.
Good luck reconstruction the Eiffel Tower.
Eiffel Tower made out of popsicle sticks.
Actual places the historical events occurred in, you can no longer say we need to have players take up...
That's illegal. You
can't do that. That's
and technically, the video games are defended by the First Amendment right. So technically, you do not have a right of way to control.
Up arms in service of terror or hate.
I mean, play GTA for once.
Play GTA literally for the first... What? The first hour. Just play the story through the first hour and you'll understand that all this is out the window.
Like you did telling. Oh my god.
And look, we're not saying we can't have games about World War II or about terrorism.
You can't even...
We just said we can't have Nazis. Okay? Or the Japanese. Let's go back to Pacific. Let's go to
terrorists too?
We're releasing the terrorists.
We're not even saying we shouldn't make games where you play as a Nazi or a terrorist.
then why bring it up?
But what we are saying is that the fact that you're playing as a Nazi or a terrorist in a game has to mean something. And it can't just be a skin.
You sure? I mean, why
Some
would...
pretty questionable skins on Fortnite.
It can't be something that a game randomly drops you in.
I mean,
how did games work back in the day? Back in 2006 to 2010, you didn't have it till you just hopped in the game.
yeah, exactly.
And you just accepted it because at that time nobody was bitching and complaining over it. No
I
one was,
know what, but...
just a little bit, and nobody was like making a big deal over it. Like
I did
nowadays.
but they were beaten. This is like the next wave.
Into. And really, if we are saying anything in this episode, it's this. Games can do better. And in this particular case, it's not even that hard to do better. And it's no more costly to do better. All it requires is that we in the game industry be cognizant of the world around us and what these symbols we're drawing on mean. That we think as we're building, not just about the game we're working on, but about the world as a whole.
Like that.
Why would we care? Can't we just like
enjoy
can't we do
it?
anything to our creative ability, to our creative extent, as much as we want to, no matter how weird or how...
I mean, there are certain lines, but like, anytime it's no longer appropriate to draw naked pictures of women,
And slap them in the video game posters?
like, go look at the Greek statues, buddy. Rick and
Hold
Bobby.
titties out on the Greek statues.
Yes.
If we can do that, we can take a big step forward for the industry.
No, he won't.
That man in the yellow always looks sus.
We can stop helping to normalize Nazis.
Oh, where's the end? Oh. Alright, so what do you think?
Man, this guy is totally making some complications in how video games are made in development. They're not. He's basically making it so. No matter what you do, there's always going to be either an issue or a problem with what you make or what you do. You can't explore your artistic creation because someone or something always are trying to cancel it or this or that. You know?
I mean, that's been up for 2 years, and you've seen the like to dislike. It's like...
It's insane. It's what are they both? One's at 200K, one's at 100K.
Yeah. Well, like you're telling me that let's reiterate the whole GTA thing. So now I'm technically black because I play as Franklin on GTA.
That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. This man's argument is kind of one-sided, to be honest with you.
It's one of the things where it's stupid enough that, you know, old people would make sense of it, but it's so arbitrary that it's weird.
Right.
I'm
lost. That's my reaction. I'm literally lost at words for this man.
This is some mental gymnastics. he should run
mental army training.
Now this is some shit politicians do, and you could get into politics.
Yeah.
With this mental gymnastics, like. It's so bizarre and confusing that we can't even agree on what is going on.
We're lost ourselves when we're going through this. We're lost ourselves sometimes.
That makes... Wait, what they made made no literal sense. And it's so weird.
Peculiar. Yeah. Very peculiar.
Yeah. Alright, so this is it.
Yep.
So see you guys.
See you guys.